Okay, yeah, I started.
Okay, so again, let me just appreciate everyone for being part of this session. We had already said a word of prayer. I don't know why the devil was making it so difficult for us to continue. Um, Professor Amanda, Aninda,
Yes.
please, can you say something so that I hear if the echo is still there?
Yeah.
Oh, good. Now it's good. I don't know what was happening with my laptop. But I appreciate the fact that we've been able to make it now. And so today's topic, as I was saying, today's topic is decolonizing education for sustainable development, and thus integrating indigenous knowledge and global innovation. Remember, we are not in an academic discussion. We are here because we are called to rethink how we learn, how we facilitate learning, how we teach, and basically ask ourselves a million questions. Whose knowledge do we value? Because if education is to truly drive sustainability, it must be inclusive, it must be contextual, and it must be transformative. We are honored to be joined by a distinguished facilitator, Dr. Aninda Sidhana from India, whose work continues to challenge and inspire global perspectives on education and sustainability. She is joined by a powerful team of leaders here, including our moderator, Professor Joyce Balidawa. We have other board members in the room whose experience and insights will guide our dialogue, and I will be supporting this conversation as a co-facilitator where necessary. So as we engage today, I invite each one of us to not just listen, but to keep on reflecting as we continue with the discussion, question, and envision the kind of education system that can truly sustain our world. With that, I want to invite Professor Balidawa to guide us on how to move on and bring the facilitator to us. Welcome, Professor.
Thank you, Ambassador Christine. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you might be. Today's topic is an interesting topic, as Ambassador Christine has already said, decolonizing education for sustainable development. And within it, integrating indigenous knowledge and global innovation. And as a result of that, we expect to see the transformative global dialogue taking place. And we are expecting to hear why should we be teaching, how we are teaching, the way we are teaching, and where should the learning take place, and so on. And we have today, for our presentation, a very prominent person, and she is going to give us a lot of information with respect to the three thematic areas. I want you to be thinking about the three: decolonizing, integrating, and of course, trying to see how best we can make it the transformative global dialogue. Let me introduce and would like to welcome, just hold on a minute. Wow. Let me just get the profile to send to me. And then I just introduce the presenter.
Thank you. Yeah,
Yes,
that is
just a minute.
Dr. Aninda Sidhana.
Yes, and if let me just, yes, that's Dr. Aninda Sidhana, is a UN Next Generation Leader. She'll tell us more about what the Next Generation Leader is all about. She's a fellow and a global thought leader at the intersection of mental health, our area of specialization, education, and social justice. She serves as the assistant editor for the Indian Journal of Psychological Medicine, IJPM, and is a board member of the Manvendra Foundation. Again, she'll tell us more about that as well. India's pioneering organization for LGBTQ plus welfare. Dr. Shinanda holds several national leadership roles, including the national president of the WICCI, which you'll tell us in full what that means, National Women's Mental Health and Wellness Council, and IGC country chair of mental health and psychological well-being. We've been trying to look for connectivity, because we have a medical psychology program and we would like to see how best we put it out there for people to know about it, because it's the first of its kind on the African continent, and it's being given at Moi University. She is also, as the LGBTQ plus convener, clinical lead for Heal Cycle and founder of Dignity Dialogues. She is dedicated to decolonizing academic and social frameworks to ensure that Indigenous wisdom and marginalized voices are at the center of sustainable global future. I received that right up, and Dr. Aninda, you are most welcome to facilitate for us today under the Global Alliance for Sustainable Education, to tell us what it is that we would like to understand better, change the perspectives about what decolonization is all about, integrate, how should we actually do that integration, and as a result, what kind of transformative global dialogue should we be talking about? I'd like to take this opportunity to welcome you, to address us so that we can listen. We're ready to listen and to get whatever useful information that you're likely to share with us. Thank you very much, and most welcome, Dr. Aninda Sidhana. Welcome.
Thank you. And are you? Am I hearable? Audible?
Yes, you are.
Now? Yeah. 1 second. I will switch on the camera also. Okay. So, I'm really thankful to everyone, and especially Ambassador Christine, for giving me the opportunity to share the knowledge. So, one thing I would like to clear, like, I'm not into the education too much, like education policy making. So, there might be some mistakes. So, just like, I'm also in the learning process. I am a psychiatrist and a psychosexual medicine specialist. So currently, I have done a fellowship which is just going to complete this week. It is a UN Next Generation Leader, which means I have now from doctor to become a policy maker, to learn what all policies can be made and what all partnerships can be done, SDG goals, like how we can attain the SDG goals. And that is a fellowship from the ISDRC, International Research Center in Geneva. So that fellowship was of 25 weeks, and I learned about this SDGs and kept my aim as health, good education, justice, and how to achieve them through partnership, SDG 17. And in that I learned about what the education should be like and how we can partner with different countries. And of course, the indigenous culture and indigenous traditional education is very important to bring the humanity back, first of all, which we are losing in the rat race of being intelligence, like human intelligence. So artificial intelligence is taking over, but still the knowledge which was earlier there, even being a psychiatrist in our psychology, psychotherapy also, we still believe Bhagavad Gita and the Bible, they are the best psychotherapy textbooks instead of our own textbooks, because they teach you about life and can guide you as a GPS. Any religious scripture can help you, and the knowledge which your mothers and grandmothers, grandfathers used to give during the bedtime stories, they guide you throughout. So that is why I believe that indigenous and the Indian, not only Indian, that's why like indigenous everywhere tradition has this thing, instigating the values in the children. That is the first thing to change the education, because we are not here to make them just to mug up everything and just to tell like what is happening in the world. First they should know what is happening in their house and what to do. So I believe that, and the wiki, that is a women's chamber, like of industry of chambers and commerce. So they gave me the honorary post in January. I accepted it after a month, and I am a national president of a council which I have made. That is a national council of psychosocial and mental wellness. We are 33 members in this council. Didn't want only psychiatrists, because everyone can contribute to bring the change. So we have a Miss World to filmmaker to the senior most psychiatrist to journalist, and the teachers, lawyers, and even the researcher from Harvard, everybody from every aspect, gynecologist and AI specialist in the council. So not only the mental health person, because to bring the change in the policy, the thought process should be from everyone. As storytelling, like filmmakers, because storytelling is very important to bring the change in any social cause. Then, and Manvendra Foundation. Manvendra Singh Gohil is the first gay prince to have come out as a gay in the world. Like he, in 2006, he declared openly that he is a gay and he belongs to the royal house of Gujarat, Rajpipla. And then he started into advocacy, and definitely the voice, it's like giving voice to the voiceless, because once people's lived experience is the new leadership, and he has been helping a lot. And that Manvendra Foundation is mainly about helping not only the transgenders but also the marginalized population, then the women who have suffered from gender based violence, then providing the HIV treatment and the menstrual hygiene. So education free, all that is there in that foundation. It has a Lakshya Trust also, and a Search Ends Inclusion. For Search Ends Inclusion and Manvendra Foundation, me and my mentor Dr. Amrit Patujoshi, we have made the courses. First is the psychological first aid for corporates, because these days burnout is happening and everybody is stressed out. I think normality is a myth. Not even I am also not normal. Everyone is having some story, some stress, and fighting some battle. So to sensitize the HRs and to sensitize the employers that your employee might have actually the reason to take the leave, that might be suffering, there must be some stress going on, that's why not performing well. Even students, since yes 2 days I have been taking classes for orientation of the students and the teachers about why mental well-being is important in Ayurvedic, homeopathic and nursing college I have taken. And now this whole month that is the agenda. So because, and DEI, the everyone is United Nations, everybody has come up with everything should be DEI, diversity, equity, inclusiveness, and I think 80% of the population will not be knowing the meaning, and if they know the meaning, then also it is still in the papers, not applicable anywhere at all. So that's why we have made a DEI courses for the corporates, for everywhere. That even now the one Bangalore airport has become the DEI airport. That is because neurodiversity is on the rise, and these neurodivergent people definitely need the calming zones, and they definitely need break, and so all these things are there, and everyone is burnt out, so people need some healing spaces. So DEI courses we have made, and that is based on the Mind Weave, which me and Dr. Amrit has designed. The Mind Weave means mastering your thoughts, then the mindfulness and all those things are there in the part of that Mind Weave course curriculum. And lastly, the Dignity Dialogues founder I am. That is just like I use the healing power of a pen. I am a gender based violence survivor of 2 marriages, and I got divorced in 15 September 2025. But the moment I got separated, I started into advocacy, that I believe that, as Viktor Frankl said, man search for meaning. I got the meaning of my life to help the women, marginalized population, and to raise the flag of mental health high, because that mental health is anyways in my blood. We all are psychiatrists. So the dignity dialogues, that was like basically just a blog I was writing, because I have designed a lot of safety mechanism to give wings to the women, and also men's mental health is important. I never say that domestic abuse only happen to women, or only women go through the stress, because feelings have no gender. I don't think anybody can tell me if feelings have gender, then that men don't have pain, then I can't agree that. Like, and no country is spared of the pain of the love, so everyone is same in the language of love and pain, from India to Nigeria to America to Dubai to Africa, anywhere you go in the world. So that is what, like, my philosophy is, everyone is same, and there is no difference whether the person is LGBTQ, whether the person is a driver or a waiter or socioeconomic status, and nothing matters. The only thing which matters is the kindness and the empathy. So, and all these titles, like, I got the message to just tell what the details about the titles. So I didn't get time also, but also I believe titles and labels, they are just for the jars, and we all are people, because right now we all are performing, and nobody even remember if we strip off ourselves from the titles. If my titles are removed of being a psychiatrist and a doctor, I don't think I remember who I am really. Can anybody tell, like, if you meet someone, can anyone ask, do anybody ask you, are you happy, instead of asking, like, what degree your children got it, even if you meet after 5 months? No, I'm not taking a class. I love having interactive session just, and of course I'm no all are equal. Everybody can contribute, and it is just a session and interactive thing. And I never refuse, because ma'am called me in the evening like I said yes yesterday, but finalized in the evening only. And usually I don't use presentation, but of course I will send a PPT if needed. But I would love, like, because in PPT what happens, people just keep on seeing the PPT and interaction is not there. And in now everybody is educated, everyone can contribute, and then only we can develop better policies. It's not only me who is going to design the policy, or not only Ambassador Christine, and everyone will tell, and people on the grassroots, and actually people who are going to be there, they tell now what they want, then only policies should be made, I believe. So if ma'am agrees, then I think everyone can contribute, whoever wants to talk. And I ask the question, like, do feelings have gender, and do you feel like education and ranks are so important, and how important is the indigenous traditions? Actually, I wanted to know also, like, Easter, I don't have much knowledge. I wanted to know the theory behind the Easter, like,
Yeah, so
everything has a,
yeah,
yeah.
that is right. And people can as well use the chat. People can raise up their hands. People can open their
Yes,
mics and
because that will be
share.
better, because everyone needs something to change in the policy. Everyone must be having a thought. And
Dr. Asewe,
ma'am's
you want to
choice,
say
ma'am?
something? You open your
I
mic.
want to say something.
Mm-hmm.
I will already open my mic.
Mm-hmm.
I just want to contribute something. Madam says that I just want to thank her for what she has said. But the stressful conditions in some other factors depends on between men and women, because the being gender, man or woman, there are some other hormonal imbalances which can create some stressful conditions for men, especially for women, especially when they are on their periods. Sometimes they are so stressful, even if they are sometimes they are sick. So
Yes.
the way the bodies of women and men works are so different. Apart from that, I just want to say it is a good topic which we need to embrace, especially on part of the ecosystem, the bridging knowledge between systems, how the systems work, between how we have designed our knowledge, how knowledge is being factored in from, especially from one generation to the other. In the traditional culture of the world, you may find that the way culture is now being brought into the generation, it is so diverse, because when you go from, for example, where my sister come from in India, they still hold their culture or factors. When you go to places like Bangkok and other some parts of West Africa and Europe, you'll find the culture are so diverse. Now, when you come to Africa, you find now the modern education and the theoretical global world, whereby churches have now come in. You find now our sometimes the traditional knowledge and the cultural practices are not being followed properly. So it is a matter of creating opportunity, relevant scaling, and the sustainable solutions for this, especially the principles of bringing in knowledge into this system. Then for us to succeed, we must adapt some respectful or knowledge system that are superior to what we are talking about, because as we speak now, there are other cultural factors which, when you want to bring them in, especially food was especially in our country, Kenya, our cultural foods were so much in use, but today people are not following that. So the principles of bridging this knowledge system to succeed, it needs a respectful knowledge, wisdom, and diverting them, teaching the current generation into indigenous knowledge so that they can have it, they can know it, they can practice it. Inclusion, they must, the youth, the women, and the elders must be brought in. You know, the main problem here is that when we are doing all these things, we leave our elders out. The elders are the people who have got the traditional wisdom, which can help us to note and to learn. You cannot, even a child cannot learn by himself. He must learn from the mother. The mother must tell him or her 1, 2, 3 so that he can continue. But when we forget our mother tongue and we go to some other foreign languages, then there we divert our culture, and from that point we don't get anything. So it is a matter of creating community learning through certain barriers, whereby all these people, like the leaders and other participants, can be brought in so that the indigenous intellectual knowledge can be brought in. So it can be done through practical approaches, whereby the education integration can be included in schools curriculum. Teachers can come in, like now during the olden days in Kenya, we used to read these traditional books like the TTK, the traditional books. We have another one very famous, even you can click it in your book, in your website, Utiena Church, Gimomyo Sibo Ruto. There were certain those books. I know Madam Winnie knows those books. When you see those people who read those books, today they are professors and they were very wise. And if you look the traditional type of education which was done during those olden days, and you compare with the modern education today, you may find that there are some diverse. Now, in the traditional knowledge, you can not only deal with education, but we will deal with norms, customs, and some other customary aspects of the community. For example, the Maasais, there's a transition whereby from the child to the old people. You may find, you not find a Maasai man working with a Maasai boy. So you will find that people are working in a group set, whereby the youths are working in their own, the mothers with the old mothers, girls with the old girls. Now, in this tradition now, you find that now we are moving away from our culture, whereby you might find an old mzee working with a very young girl, you see, which I think what Madam is saying, in Indian tradition, you cannot get that culture. So those are some of the other things. We must have a proper research and a proper documentation, and we record these indigenous practices like our medicine, agriculture, climate knowledge, and all other these things. For example, in the cultural war, during the olden days, there were some other animals, birds, and trees, which people used to see how the rain will be, how the climate will be. When you go to the Maasai land, they use the goats, the intestines of the goats. So those are some other things which we need to include in our education so that we don't just rely on modern education, but we must rely on this traditional education. The practical approaches will depend with some other educational factors. As I conclude, I just want to say to Madam, as we continue with these things, we digitalize these things and we prepare a knowledgeable system whereby the innovation platforms can be seen all over the website so that people can combine this indigenous knowledge with the science and technology. And the policy support must also be there. Thank you very much. Let's say to my friends, asanteni sana. I was eager to give an input so that we can continue. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Dr. Asewe. As I said when we began, the moment I saw you in the room, I was like, wow, this is Dr. Asewe. Maybe the rest of us, raise your hand or type yes in the chat if you have ever learned something valuable from your grandmother, your community, or your culture. Just raise up your hand or just type the word yes. Wow. Yeah, awesome. So I can see some yeses. Now, how much of that knowledge is in our curriculum today? Dr. Akama, how much of that knowledge is in our curriculum today? Let us be honest. Let us be honest. Can you point out something that is in there that you are sure it was there with your grandmother or from the community? Janet, your hand is up. Unmute yourself. Dr. Kama, your hand is up. Yeah, after Janet, yes?
Yes, I think from us in Moi, this COPS program, once the students go out, they try to get some historical backgrounds. They try to learn about the myths that surround health. And from there, we get to know what was happening then and what is happening now, and how is this influencing their health-seeking behavior. So some bit of it, yes, is there in the curriculum, but most of the information, as we move down from generation to generation, we are missing some information. Because when these students go out, very few of the old come to give any information about their historical backgrounds, issues to do with child naming, what impact it had on the child, why they had to name it that way, what could happen if the child was not named. That information is wearing off with the generations now adopting new ways of naming their children. The rites of passage in terms of marriage, in terms of circumcision for the communities also, we still have some information coming up, but it's not as rich as it was before. Thank you.
Thank you. Janet, your hand was up.
Yes, I want to agree with Daktari Akama. It is true. We cannot say that it has been eroded completely. There are some aspects in the curriculum. For example, some of the subjects we still embrace that. In literature, we have those topics on maybe songs, some cultural practices, in English subject, the oral literature, and many other subjects, even geography. Some students are sent home to go and find out some aspects of aspects regarding with the geography. So we cannot say it is eroded. However, when we look at the trend, it might be eroded, because now there is a lot of individualism. Families are now sticking with their children. They do not want to have their children staying with their grandparents. And we know the source of the history is our older generation. So this individualism is also contributing a lot. Technology is another barrier to embracing the old, especially in our communities. So I want to agree with the Daktari. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And so, therefore, Janet, can we say that our education is powerful, but still incomplete?
Very true. Our education is very powerful, especially knowing that these children are getting this information from their teachers, information that they also get from their parents. The information is both in school and at home. That is a powerful tool. Thank you.
Oh, and therefore, sorry, Professor Ananda, our guest, just allow me to finish up this because it's becoming so engaging and nice. And now, where is the gap? I want us to be honest here. Where is the biggest problem? Is it policy? Is it implementation? Is it mindset? Or is it all of them?
Let me just add there.
Yeah, Prof.
And say that it is all of them. When
Can
we
you
use the
justify?
word decolonizing,
Uh-huh.
I think the word should not be decolonizing.
Uh-huh.
The word should be, how do we put the two to get the best out of the two sides? And what we normally try to promote in our COPS program is, yes, we are having the modern, but at the same time, we must go and also learn the other way of how things are done. And you know what? Our students, when they come back, they're so excited. They have gone to learn about the naming systems of the various communities. As we tell you, they go out to Rift Valley, Nyanza, Western. Imagine learning about that. We don't have that in the curriculums. But by the time our healthcare professionals are coming back, they are so enlightened. They're able to come back and say, and you, when your name is Wanjeri, what could that mean? And so on and so forth. And so it is that exciting, the indigenousness of the curriculums that should now be brought out and actually integrated in such a way. And of course, and we're doing that, we're saying, how do we now put it together with the latest advancements in technology? So if we can all think about drawing the circles, the three circles, decolonization is not the word. There's another a better word. Integration is the second one. And the transformation is the third one. Draw those three circles. And by the time we are finishing, we will definitely know what we should be filling in, how we should be filling it, and what we should be filling it with. And I'm sure the presenter has a lot to tell us on how we actually fill out those three areas. One, first of all, as independent entities, then where they intersect, then from there where they all meet at the third point. So that one would make this discussion very interesting, Dr. Christine.
Yeah, exactly, Professor. And somebody was making me laugh. Like, you guys, Before Google came, people survived. And even before AI, people were very intelligent. Nowadays, you tell somebody 7 plus 7, they must go and look for the calculator. I mean, what went wrong? Why did we stop valuing what already worked? Professor Aninda, please continue. Unmute yourself, you're muted. Dr. Aninda, back to you. Could you be speaking? Okay.
Yeah. So yes, I have sent you one video also. Basically, first thing the sir talked about was the hormones, and women and men, they go through different hormonal changes also. So that is anyways my favorite topic. And the clinical lead Heal Cycle, which was there in the introduction. Heal Cycle is an app developed by Ananya Grover. She is a Princeton graduate, and I am a clinical lead with her. That app was developed by her to track the mood symptoms in women during the menstruation, and now it has been, we have extended it to the perimenopause, menopause, postpartum, because as I says, like, everyone runs to hold the baby, but nobody asks how the mummy is doing. And also a woman goes through so many mood swings, and which can affect the relationships and everything. So I have shared a small video, like what that app is, just a 50-second video that can be played. Like, it has a AI chatbot Tara and AI therapy, because right, and anybody can use that AI therapy, because everyone is stressed out, and a listening ear is a thing. Non-judgmental listening ear can turn a life around. So if ma'am allows, then we can just have a look at that app once. Video. I have sent you. So this is basically the app Heal Cycle. It's available on Android and Play Store, iTunes also. And you can get a free journaling, because writing is a tool which can help you. Then meditation techniques, and we take regular sessions also to explain about mood symptoms, then about the perimenopause. As April is a stress awareness month, PMDD awareness month, and 2nd April was Autism Awareness Day, and World Health Day, it is 7th April, 10th April is Homeopathy Day, 15th is coming to be International Day of Happiness. So this month is only full of all the celebrations about health, and the theme is only one, that for everybody it should be equal, like autism in humanity, health, like no, leave no one behind. The theme is almost the same. And for Stress Awareness Month, the theme is building resilience and stronger together. So that is the thing. So that is the app, and you can download it, www.healcycle.com, and even we get a safe space to talk, share the what, like, sometimes talking only helps a lot. No, not everybody needs the medicine.
So how does it work, Prof?
It's very easy, user friendly. You just download the app, and you will get the prompts, like to put your own period dates, and then how was the mood. It has various smileys come, and then it rates your mood. It has rating scales also. Then there is a Tara chatbot. She keeps on asking, like, how are you feeling today? Okay, you can just put in, I am not feeling well and I am not able to manage the time. Then you will get the time management chart.
So can I replay it?
Yeah, you can replay it definitely. download it. And but like we still believe that AI cannot replace the human touch. So uh, we have different questionnaires, and also AI is trained enough, like when any questionnaire or anybody just feels like negative thoughts too many, then that is referred to to me, like I'm a psychiatrist, and for therapy, so that there is no risk.
Well, personally, I love innovation, but innovation without context, you know, it can fail the very people it is meant to help.
Yes, it is help. It has users like around the US and everywhere, because she developed it in 2024. But now we have expanded, like with the my support, and with we both are supporting each other. Like of course, we cannot go alone very far. So I really believe in her vision, and it's her brainchild, and I am just like about the clinical things I guide her, and AI things she, of course, she is only developing. And we have now collaborated with the IVF centers also. Actually, I will have to log in through another thing.
So maybe let's take the direction of the presentation telling us
Yes,
exactly
sure.
how
Yeah.
we should decolonize, how we should integrate, and what kind of transformative dialogue we should actually be having. So let us start with how we should best, without hurting any side, because I believe all sides have something to offer. And we should try and see how we harmonize. The word is to harmonize our
Yes, of course.
indigenous knowledge, at the same time, continue embracing modernity. Maybe you could expound on that for us so that we can actually grasp when we talk about decolonization, we want to use the word harmonization.
Okay, yeah, that is nice.
Yes,
That's a good
yes,
learning
if
for
you could
me.
be,
Yeah.
thank you.
So because of course harmonization is the key. As I said, every country, everywhere, the problems people are facing are same. Just like uh, differences are on the cultural and the language basis only. Basic things are same, like everyone is having some financial issues, or like the carbon dating problems are coming, then environmental things. So almost all the SDGs everybody has to achieve, and almost everyone has the same issues to achieve. So education, what it should be like, and I would like to say that first of all, it shouldn't be a true leader and a true teacher is one who ignites the spark, makes you curious enough to learn, and gives you the path like a GPS that you start learning on, and also guides you and answers your questions. And that is the true leader. And a true leader is identified by how many leaders he or she makes. Definitely. It's not only about rising yourself, it's about harmony. In harmony, everybody should rise. So education system also should be like that, not only about just the ranking system and grading, which I believe. I will just change my like device. Actually, the battery is going, ma'am. Just 2 seconds. Pardon me.
Okay, so as Aninda is busy changing her battery, I want each one of us here to reflect on what should we do better? How can we do it better? Because as far as we are concerned, each part has something to offer. And we're saying that our crux of the matter is sustainability. How do we continue incorporating our indigenous knowledge into modernity and at the same time promoting sustainability? Anyone? We would like, there's a lot out there. There's a lot of indigenous knowledge, which is now going to waste because it's not being captured, it's not being included, it's not being brought out, it's not being promoted, and the likes. So how should we do that? Because I believe we are going to lose a lot if we don't harmonize and bring it to the center. Because at the end of the day, we want to make sure we are realigning how we are teaching. Because I think if I had it correctly, we should now be taking the best of each system and trying to bring out the best in everybody. Daktari, are you ready? We continue?
Yeah, I want people to respond to that. Let us respond to that. That is very, very important.
Hello.
Yes.
Yes?
Hello.
Yes, Annette, go ahead.
Good evening, everyone, and I hope you have had a good Easter Sunday. I want to think that we need to begin by first of all understanding that together we do much. And when we come to that stand of view, I will know that Dr. Christine and Dr. Annette have 2 points they can bring on the table and make a strong table.
Mm-hmm.
The other thing that we need to do after understanding that we need each other is empowering people. There are many people who have a lot they can do, but as long as you don't believe in yourself, you will not bring the much that you have. So it's very important that we empower people, first of all, to believe in themselves, become confident, be able to believe that they can contribute at any point if they put in a lot of effort to look for what it takes to stand in that gap that will be there. So like Prof has said, I believe that together we can do much. And I also know that we know a lot, which each one of us can bring on a table. If take an example of this forum, the different points that we bring every Sunday, every evening, every time we put a point across, together they make something stronger than when you are alone. But I must accept and believe that I have something to contribute for me to come on board. So let's empower people and let's continue sensitizing everyone that together we can do much. I submit.
Yes, thank you, Annette, for that. It's a very interesting. And basically what we are now saying is that each one of us comes from a respective community with this indigenous knowledge, and this indigenous knowledge has been somehow put aside. Yet when we go to the community, let me share the experience of what we have when the students come back. They say, we have learned so much. We didn't know the nutritional value of all these local vegetables. When we stay in town, we actually assume that eating, I don't know which type of vegetables only, that is what is an indication of being healthy. Can you imagine? They go to the community, they get to know how they make those vegetables, how they are so tasty. They even learn how they actually make them and things like that. In fact, it's noted that when the students come back from the community, they are much, much healthier than when they went out. Isn't that interesting? And yet, the view that we normally say that in the community, everything backwards, indigenous, not to be considered, and so on and so forth. We are now opening up the Pandora's box and saying, open up that box and we see what we can learn from it, regardless of who it is.
Exactly.
Daktari,
Exactly. Thank you so much. I actually brought on board these 3 instances that we are facing globally. If we look at them, climate crisis, inequality, knowledge imbalance. So if we have to look at each of them and try to look at what we did and how it worked in the past, how our grandparents did it. For example, if we look at inequality, what has brought about this inequality? what was there before us? Did we have this big gap that actually showed that people are unequal in the society? If not, where did we lose the mark? What is it that we can pull and bring forward so that we can integrate it in the current situation, which we are now calling modern, to enable us overcome these challenges? Because all in all, what we are doing in Education for Sustainable Development is to look for solutions and not just talking. We are not just talking. We are looking for solutions. So even as we are talking about the topic that is in hand today, if we flip back the pages of our albums, what is it that we have left behind that we need to bring forward to help us overcome some of these challenges?
Allow me.
Yes, Janet.
Allow me to make this observation. Sorry, I'm usually biased towards.
I know you want to defend. Don't defend.
Yes. So I want to agree with the speakers who have spoken before me and add this, that looking at the generations we have, already there is a generation gap between the generations that are present. And therefore, it is the older generation that we shall rely on more to go back to our history in all aspects of life. Because the current generation, Gen Zs, the alphas, they may not have as much as we are longing to have. And therefore, even in the teaching profession, because this is what I believe, that all these challenges we are talking about are starting from the classroom where the younger generation spends a lot of time with the so-called adults who today majority are Gen Zs. And these Gen Zs may not be having that which we really are yearning for. They also have to go out to get out of their way to the older generation to get this information we need, to get these skills we need, to get these right attitudes we need. And so how can they get the information for them to pass, to cascade the same to those who are younger than them or their own colleagues at the same age? Because you can only give what you have. So I want to agree with the last speaker on one of the ways of capacity building. It's very important. The Bible says, my people are dying for lack of knowledge. If we don't give knowledge, we who have the knowledge, then we shall not help them to pass the same knowledge to the younger ones. So how can they get this capacity? Through their own school-based capacity buildings. They can bring on board the older generation from the communities to share with them some of those aspects, whichever area, it may be climate, it may even be at subject level, it may be to do with health, whatever it is, let them bring on board some of what we call in our country, we call them guest speakers, and the resource persons from the communities, so that we can have the communities that is the catchment area of the school. However, the challenge is today our communities do not just have a same people from this speaking the same language. But for me, I can see an opportunity in that, so that if I am using somebody from the catchment area who does not speak my language, I will learn from them. Because even at the end of the day, when they get jobs, they not just get jobs in their communities where their language is spoken, they'll get jobs from other communities. So bringing on board somebody who is older and mature from the community will enable us to learn some of the community practices and norms. I'm also thinking about formation of COPs, communities of practice, even amongst themselves. When you are with the peers, you even learn better because you have more confidence than when you are with the strangers. So formation of communities of practice, even amongst us who are attending this workshop, we can form those communities of practice to learn from one another. How about using gender responsive pedagogies? At whatever level, whether at university, whether at tertiary or even basic education level, how about integrating use of gender responsive pedagogies? I'm sure it will address the issue of inequalities, so that we now understand as a woman, this is what is expected of me or was expected of me, and it bore these fruits. This is what we achieved when we behaved like this, as opposed to how we are now behaving. And I think that is one of the ways. And finally, I will also encourage the use of locally available materials. Why are we running to import materials from our neighboring country? Why are we really rushing to buy, actually importing? Why can't we also export our locally available material so that our children can see the importance of our locally available materials, how we can innovate using what we have before we rush out looking for more funding so that we are buying what is not even. We also have to learn how to use this new material brought to us. Why don't we embrace the use of our locally available materials? Oh, I can talk and talk until tomorrow. Sorry for that long talk, but that is what I can share for now. Thank you.
Wow, that's wonderful. That is really, really wonderful. And as you said, it is in our schools. You know, does anyone know the concept behind the national schools when they were set up? You are sent to a national school. Can someone tell us what was the purpose, what was behind it? And is it still prevailing, the ideology behind setting up of national schools? Anyone? Just imagine, think back yourselves, because when you think about it, when you met someone from, I don't know which part of wherever they're coming from, you had the curiosity of wanting to know where they're from, their language. You even try to understand and even to speak the language and things like that. Do we still have that today? The question is, why don't we still have that today? And I leave that for food for thought so that our presenter can continue to tell us exactly what it is that we are now here for. Thank you very much, Genevieve. Okay, can explain
Dr. Linda, continue with your presentation.
Yes.
Just one ma'am's question I wanted to ask, like again, like what, can you ma'am please repeat your question once again? One is like what actions should be taken, and last question, what was it?
Professor Balidawa.
Yeah, Am I audible? Like ma'am had asked last question, like after the discussion, there was a
No,
okay.
Yes.
that question, basically you might not understand it because it was in the Kenyan context about
Okay, what?
national schools in
Yeah,
Kenya.
because we also have the regional, like national school. Is it like the government school, something government run? Is it like?
Yeah, something
Yes.
like that.
And the idea was to get learners from all corners of the country. They all
Yeah.
get down into the melting pot of the school, and they're all supposed to learn from each other's cultures. And by the time they're leaving, because when they're deployed as civil servants, they're going to be employed anywhere and everywhere and be able to serve anyone and everyone. And they should not be able to discriminate who they're serving and things like that. That was the purpose of the national schools.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Yes. So this idea of bringing out the indigenousness of everything should actually be starting in our schools.
Yeah.
Okay. So,
So
so
continue.
yes, I will share my slide deck.
Okay. Continue, please. So in essence, we're just saying, in case, take an instance of a farmer. A farmer wants to plant, and one farmer says, let's plant now. Another farmer says, wait. Now, who is right between these two? Well, that is the kind of scenario that we are facing right now. Dr. Ninda, you're muted. Unmute yourself, please.
Can I just like do the presentation just as a talk instead of the PPT, or because
It's
I'm not able
okay.
to show?
Whichever way, we are good. These are
Okay, yeah.
all adults.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
So basically, like I believe that the change which is needed, like to bring the change in the decolonization is necessary for the educational development and achieve the sustainable goals, because as ma'am said, decolonization means the harmonization, and that is what we all need right now to, instead of uh, going to the war, and right now the whole world is in crisis situation, and that should not be happening at this point. It should have been like all the countries living in the harmony. And about the educational system, that Trinity Indian knowledge system, which I believe it had the indigenous system in which the various like Ayurveda, Upanishads, they all were there, which had the uh, even the mathematical problems like Aryabhat, they all were included in the indigenous system. But now, of course, like in your schools, it must not have vanished. But in our school, in our country, many students, like in the metro cities, they don't even learn Hindi. They believe like learning English is a good, but still one should know the mother tongue. One can never forget that, and a language cannot be a status symbol. So that is what we really need to bring back, because Hindi is a traditional language, and rest, I believe, like everyone loves their own language, but sometimes it is due to the brain drain. People are running after the English, which is compulsory, not compulsory, which is, of course, I never say it's not needed, because if I go to another country, I have to communicate. And until and unless I understand the language, how will I communicate? But your own nation's language and the culture is also important. And Gen Zs are running away from that. So that is one thing which is lacking in the educational system here right now. Because in some schools they have made it as an optional also. So how can a mother tongue be optional? That is one thing. And the moral education classes, which used to be there as compulsory, now they are not there in the schools, the which is very important and necessary. And I'm sure like the national school which you spoke about, it must have that, it must be having all that.
Actually, Anita, just pause. I like the question you asked. How can mother tongue be optional? How can mother tongue be optional? I think that is something we need to think about. Continue, Dr. Aninda.
It has become like a status symbol to know English. And one cannot speak English fluently. Sometimes people, Gen Zs, they make fun of it. But how can, like, if I go to France, I will of course stumble. I will not know that. It doesn't mean like making fun. The language is to be learned, and your own mother tongue, how can you not learn? That is one thing which I believe is lacking in our education system. Definitely in some parts in South India, like the divide is going on, like they have made their local language as a compulsory subject, but Hindi they don't teach, which is, I believe, should be changed. And the moral education classes, which used to happen earlier from kindergarten till second grade, now it's not there. Now my 3-year-old niece, she knows. We ask her like, who is the prime minister? She will tell Modi, but she doesn't know what is joy or jealousy, or about the respect. Earlier in schools there used to be the classes regarding religious and the cultural traditional things, which was the moral classes and table manners and the manners how to talk. All these used to be in the moral classes, but now it has been replaced by, because everyone is after titles, and our, like my child should have first grade. And but anyways, every country's prime minister will change by the time children grow. But the respect, kindness, empathy, which now UNICEF has given the educational material also, that emotional regulation should be imparted in every school from childhood. Then good touch, bad touch is important, as the cases of abuse, child abuse, are increasing. And the third, comprehensive sex education, which does not mean only the good touch and the bad touch. It also includes the knowledge about masturbation to the children, because at the age of 7 the curiosity starts unveiling, and you cannot stop a child, and it's not abnormal, but you have, until and unless you educate a child, educating is important. And every culture, every city, everywhere it's different. If in India, in a village, we start sex education at the age of 3, it will become like, of course we will only be thrown out of the schools, as it's not appropriate. It should be culturally appropriate, but nowadays it's a global game board is going on just to achieve the sustainable goals, which is not true. Not like we cannot follow a rule book. For human beings, a rule book cannot be followed. A culture should be respected. That sex education, of course, in metros or in a Western culture, in America, London, you go there, you have to teach a sex education early about the safe sex, because child becomes independent early. But in our culture, it's not acceptable also. So it depends from, like in our culture, like it depends from Mumbai to Delhi, it's different. And in my city, it's different. But still, comprehensive sex education, emotional regulation, menstrual education, and the equality, all these should be taught. And the day the children start talking about their emotions, they should know how to name the emotions, how to respect the elderly, and what the roots were, from where the roots are, like how the mathematics have come into. And anyways, the complex algebra nobody is going to use later on in life. I don't remember using the a square plus b square since law. I don't even remember when I used it last. And teaching your children, how many of you go and like ask, are you happy? I don't think anybody asks. So teaching your children that uh, empathy, like take care, be aware of the emotions of everybody, like respect and all, that should be in the curriculum. Important for that, first should be the teacher training. Teachers should be start trained about that this is important. The mental health, sexual health, even normal health, physical health, all that is more important than teaching about the finance minister and the uh, health minister and all those things. So first it should be the teaching class. Teachers should be trained, and in the primary health centers also, everybody can take first aid. Of course, when the disaster hits, it does not hit only the houses; it hits everybody, and the everyone should be taught about that. But age is appropriate. Age appropriate should be there, and cultural appropriation. I don't say like In every culture, sex education should start or should be stopped. Everywhere it depends not the society, but there are some set rules and regulations, and the culture is there, of course. That should be followed for that. And the good touch, bad touch is very important. And nowadays, first question I always feel like even ask that, who is raising our children these days? Are parents raising the children? No, because parents are busy at work. Are teachers? No, and because children don't listen to teachers, the social media is teaching our children, digital media. A 3-year-old child will know how to do click, click, Insta reel, YouTube reel, but he does not know how to greet a teacher or a mom. So it's like social media is eating up us, and all the way you spoke about the intelligence, artificial intelligence, it's becoming definitely it's important technology. But today only I was just about to write a blog that like I would like to ask ma'am also, like how important is artificial intelligence, and what is the harm and what is the benefit? Like, uh, so for that, I believe that the biggest fear is not that artificial intelligence is taking up our jobs. It's that we will start becoming the artificial intelligence machines instead of human beings' emotions. Imagine we have to prove to the Facebook and the social media at times, the sites, that are you a human? The machines are asking you, and you are putting that captcha that yes, I am a human being. So we should not like in artificial intelligence and technology should not take our us up, of course. So there should be empathy, and empathy with technology also, with because AI. There have been cases in which the one or two cases have been reported that the suicide ideas were increased. It's like because we have to control the developers, and the algorithm should be controlled. What a child is seeing on the net, the algorithms and all play a very big role, and that is where the role of the policymakers come, how they can manage and regulate that, because we cannot be always as a police or keeping the cameras everywhere, and you don't know what a child is watching, even, but nobody can have a control 24 hours. So this is my like a brief like thought. Like today only I was like actually thinking and about this only, like how is it, how hilarious this is that I am proving to a machine that I'm a human being. But advantages are there. So STEM education is very important, and climate and gender equality. There is, of course, like I literally when I started my fellowship in United Nations think course, I was not able to understand why climate and gender equality we talk about. Why we talk about climate change. Like still I'm not much well versed, because maybe in belonging to the medico family, I believe just the health medications and like narrow thinking which is there. So then later on I believe like even the our menstrual cycle is only changes with the climate. Our mood changes with the climate. I could understand with that things. And there is a lot of derangement because the farmers, they, as you asked, like some of the farmers say grow the crops now, some say not now. Why? Because cyclone, when it will hit, nobody knows. Climate has become so unpredictable. And so all the farmers are being affected by the climate change. That also should be taught in the schools, that how to preserve the climate, like the degradable sources, biodegradable, all those definitely should be taught to children. Uh, anyone would like to say like,
I understand. You'd like the
So, is there anyone like? Would anyone like to say anything? Ambassador Christine, any inputs you have? Can you unmute?
Yeah, I mean, well, this is really interesting because I was just wondering and trying to ask myself how we can integrate indigenous knowledge without compromising academic standards. Like now, look, there is a day my mom was trying to show me another plant, and she could tell me the name of the plant in our mother tongue. She could explain what the plant can do and all that. But there is an app we tried to use to find out whether that plant has got a name in English, and it couldn't get it. So I was wondering, is there a way we can integrate indigenous knowledge without really compromising what we already have? Because in whichever country you are, there is that which is working right now. And there is something that probably we are still feeling that a gap has been left because some knowledge has been left out, or that has been ignored, or has been left behind.
Yes, Ambassador, I believe that the best way to do that is so long as we enhance the aspect of relevance and inclusivity. Relevance and inclusivity. Previously, or for some time, it has been the case where if it is not from I don't know which quarters only, it cannot be considered. It is that headache of saying if it's not coming from a certain quarter, it should not be considered. The inclusivity and the relevance. Imagine students are in the community. They have an emergency. They should know what the basic first aid procedures should be, isn't it? And they're in the community deep. By the time they're calling Balidawa or Akama to coordinate the transport and everything, they should have look at the local herbs which they can use, especially like snake bites, This is very crucial information. And we find that this is what should actually, the inclusivity and the relevance is what needs to be emphasized. That should be the starting point for all of those who are now here asking how indigenous knowledge should be incorporated in our modern way of doing of things. That's my view.
Yeah,
Madam Balidawa, I
yes.
think I agree. Yes, I agree with the Daktari because I want to believe in our schools, not all of us come from that particular community. So, like, I want to use your example, Daktari Christine. When I am teaching as a teacher, I will not insist on exact terminologies or terms that are, you are looking for the name in English. English is not our language. So if I am teaching my class and I've shown them that this is what we used to use when you are suffering from stomachache, I will ask them, can you give me examples of what you use in your community or at home for stomachache? It should be contextualized. What we are giving, what is given to us in the curriculum is a guidance. So we should help our learners to contextualize. They'll not always be in that context, in that environment. Tomorrow they'll be in another environment. So if they have stomachache, what can they use apart from going to the chemist, to the doctor before they get there? What else can they use from their own environment? So I want to agree with the Daktari that we should help our learners to to internalize the information they are given, and even be innovative enough to come up even with better solutions than the current solutions. For me, that is now what I'll call integration. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yes.
And even with
Interesting.
that,
Interesting.
yeah, and even with that, what is the role of technology in this? Technology should actually be an enabler, not a solution on its own. The danger is when technology amplifies only one worldview. So we need to look at technology as an opportunity we've been given to even document indigenous knowledge. Then we will be able to connect communities and enhance local solutions. In essence, what I'm saying, what is modern now, like the technology we have, must serve humanity and not to override it. Considering what Janet has just said, I think we need to see what we can do as educators, as innovators, as policy makers, or people who are making a difference in the community. What can we do so that all this that we are discussing is not like passing wind? We get a way of bringing it to life because there is something somewhere that we are missing. And maybe because somebody has not voiced it out, it will just go like that. Professor Balidawa.
Yes, thank you for that. And I think what we need to emphasize is that we are not rejecting the global knowledge. We just are talking about rebalancing and integrating knowledge systems to create a more just, sustainable, and the word you've been using and I've been hearing is to contextualize and context responsive future. That is it. If we can get that, definitely our indigenous knowledge will also have a place where it can also be listened to, just like any other knowledge systems that we have been embracing. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Before you give it back to Dr. Aninda, now, like us, the educators, we can start immediately. Remember, in Education for Sustainable Development, we believe in action. Action now. Where can we start from? You need to start small, but start intentionally. Start with intention to bring about a difference in your classroom. Ask yourself, what local examples can I bring into my lesson? For example, whose voice is missing in my teaching? And bring in that voice. If it is the voice of your grandmother, how can you bring in that voice so that the children of today or the students of today can have an encounter of what you know that they don't know? How can learners connect knowledge to their environments so that they can now, like Professor Balidawa, what you're doing with your students, they can now understand that whatever they are going to meet outside there, it's not totally different from what they've been given in class, because transformation begins in the classroom. That is where transformation needs to begin. Yeah. And so in the process, maybe we need to ask ourselves questions like, what is the biggest barrier to this kind of transformation that we are talking about? Of which the biggest barrier is the mindset. The moment we work on the mindset, everything is going to roll out well, because we have systems. We have policies, we have resources, and we are the same people who are implementing these policies. We are the same people who are using these resources. We are the same people who are working on these systems. But if we still believe that valid knowledge comes from one source, then transformation will remain limited. The shift must just begin, and how we think really, really matters. How we think really, really matters. So from the start, it is about us who are here having this kind of conversation. What can I do in my little way? If you don't have a class that you are handling at the moment, you have people next to you. You have children in your house. Maybe you are a grandmother. There is something you can do with the immediate people that you have, because you cannot underestimate the power of replication, because that child, whatever you will share with them, the way you will do it with them, it will never end there. They will, in one way or another, take it to another environment or give it to another person. So anything small you can do to make a difference, it is the time for us to do that. And we can do it. Yes, it is possible we can do it. So let us start small. Start where you are. Start with what you have. Remember, those of us who are Christians, God asked people like Moses, what do you have in your hand? And that which the people had, like Moses, that is what God used to enable them to make a difference. So what do you have in your hand? Even as we are talking about this important subject, what is it that you have in your hand that you can use? Go, use it. Back to you, Dr. Balidawa. Then, of course, the facilitator can continue and finish. I don't think I will interrupt again.
Yes, and I think what is coming out is that if we are to integrate indigenous knowledge and global innovation, we have to expand the training. Here we have to look at our curriculums, we have to look at the policies, and even how we are doing things. And I think there's a terminology, I don't know how many of you have come across it, where you are using the two-eyed seeing approach. Two-eyed seeing approach. Imagine if you only have a mono, those who have monos, when you're looking at something with just using one eye, just cover your eye and see. When you're looking at something, just your eye, cover it and tell me, is your vision as good as if you have your two eyes looking at? So that is what we are now saying, if it's possible. Let us develop the two-eyed seeing approach. Two eyes are looking at it. On one side, we have the indigenous. On the other hand, this other side, we have the global scientific innovation. And when we put the two together, integration is not replacement. It is actually mutual enrichment. Modern with indigenous, and indigenous enriching the modern. If we can get that balance gotten, our COPS program will be impactful. Our Global Alliance for Sustainable Education will be impactful and even more impactful, especially if it adds COPS and things like that. So let us think about it from that perspective. Integration is not replacement. It is mutual enrichment. And the added word which we normally use is co-creation. Co-creation. Co-creation with who? How about what? How should they be together? Co-creation. It is now the institutions are becoming to be co-creators of problem solving. And that's where we are right now. So we can allow the presenter to continue and then hopefully finish. We're already 21:16 Kenya time.
Yeah, Dr. Anita, please take it up and wind up for us.
Can you share one picture or one screen? I will try. I have sent you, Ambassador Christine. Can you share it? So basically, yeah, it's just like instead of making PPT, I have just made one small uh, deck only in one picture. Is Zoom can it be done? Yeah. So basically, whose knowledge shapes the future and whose wisdom we have silenced now? The main question is this.
Yeah, did you want us to respond to the question, or you wanted us to reflect on the question?
I'm not. Am I audible and seen?
You're breaking, but we have the picture you sent with
Okay,
all
yeah.
this. Yes.
Yeah, yes, okay. So basically, it's like about, and we cannot leave anything. Neither the modern education can be left because we have to keep up with the future, with the advancement in every aspect. And the wisdom of the old is always old is gold, of course, that can also not be left. But it's like it has to be a balance created that we cannot be stuck in the past and don't develop ourselves. Every country, every person wants to develop, so keep the roots in the roots of wisdom from the old and start developing and get wings for the future. I believe in that, and that can be definitely inculcated as similar. The ma'am said yes, of course, the plant name as you said, and small things we can start teaching them. Anyways, in educational system, all the modern things are being taught. So just few things to be incorporated so that it is not forgotten. That is the thing, that nobody's knowledge should be wisdom should be silenced, and knowledge is anyways going to shape the future. And why the decolonization matters, as ma'am said, it is not about decolonization, it's about the harmonization. A decolonization term had come post World War II, but of course now it's like about harmonization. Everyone should live in the harmony, and globalization and education, that everyone, you should not forget your country's basics, your culture's basic, take them to the global level and make become the most developed country. So think local, think about your grassroots problems and develop them with the help of the STEM and with the help of the mentors and everything. Then you can attain the United Nations Sustainable Developmental Goals, and your country also can be the first. Instead of running in the rat race of following the others, just start, think local, become global, and follow the, just modify a bit of the educational system. And then the 21st century educators, they cannot be spoon feeders, because anyways everyone is getting everything ready made. If you can tell a child a homework, you give the child within 2 minutes, he'll get it from AI. So ignite the spark in the child, that he should think, oh yes, why the one who has a why will anyway find out how to do it. And the curious minds, the children are the most curious. The more you make them curious, the more they will learn and find the better solutions and come up with the solutions. So that is a true teacher of the 21st century, and not the spoon feeding. Like, okay, pick up this and come up tomorrow and tell us what is going to happen. So there should be the curiosity left after every class. Rather, class should only start like, if change is the answer, what is the question? Not as what is the question, rather why the question is, why we are talking about change now. Things should not have become such bad anyways. So why the change is the change is the answer, but why this question only came about equality, about the climate damage, things should not have reached that level. So just, if now only we start forgetting our roots and also not develop with the future, it will be, again we will be sitting and then thinking, oh, if change is the answer, like we have forgotten everything, even like, because now we are there, we can teach them, because the 90s kids anyways, If we don't tell them, slowly our culture and our everything will be vanished from our own country. And we will be thinking why it happened. So if change is the answer, but first make them think this question only should not arise to find the solution to the problems. And every country, everyone can reach the success with commitment and the paying the respect to the elders and the mentors. And definitely mentors and teachers, they are even more important than your parents. They guide you. I always believe that we are zero without our teachers, but that thing is not there in children nowadays. That should be started inculcating when they start listening to the wisdom of the old, because everyone is being focusing on the future. So that is the way, like, to think local, keep thinking local, but how to expand the local things global. So that will be true globalization, and education system can be built on that. And curriculum, definitely the reforms are needed. I am not aware about the reform, like curriculum, how it is in other countries. In, like, about India, I am aware about India, about some I have read about few countries. So definitely the curriculum is has advanced a lot, but still it is based on the rank system. Like, we face the human minds. Every child has a different talent. Everyone has some talent in him. So why can't we embrace the every talent and grow? Let everyone grow in their own talent. And why, like, till 12th class, I knew only two jobs: doctor and engineer. Why? Artist, painter, they all, everyone has some talent inside, and we can groom that talent only. But people are forgetting that. So I always give the example for neurodiversity, which is rising. There is no abnormality in that. Rather, autistic children and neurodiverse children, they are much more intelligent and creative than us. So embrace them. Why? Because I paid so much of money and went to see the northern lights. What was it? Just the colors? We wait rainbow to come. What is it? The colors. So similarly, the neurodiversity is also colors of the human mind. Why can't we embrace every child's some talent? Every child has, and there should not be comparison. If someone is not good in maths, he will be good in arts or singing. So groom that talent, and maybe that person is good in the local classical singing of your country. As even our country's classical singer has got Padma Shri award because he groomed that talent instead of being ashamed of into the classical singing, classical things. That has to be inculcated, that no one should forget it. Just belong, keeping your feet in the ground and belonging to the roots does not mean you are old school or you are below level or something. But that has to be taught to the children, because children are nowadays have been caught in the cobweb of the comparison, which is stealing the joy from everyone's life. So transforming the pedagogy, that learning system should be changed, and it should be the curiosity. As I like believe, like, my motto is igniting change one mind at a time. If I can change one mind also from my one talk about gender-based violence, then it means I have done something in life. So everybody can change one mind at a time and bring the change and be the change what you want to see in the world. Definitely things will start changing. Everyone can have one motto and change the countries. And then the community engagement, man is a social animal, and we all are the loneliest generation with most connected. I know what Ambassador Christine is doing, but I don't know who my neighbor is. Why? Because we are still lonely, and loneliest generation with the highly interconnected and happiest faces on the Facebook and social media everywhere. But inside, everyone is having a story. So community engagement, make sure that you also go out and know about the culture of your community, your people around you. Oh, it's okay to be known about global things, but community is healing. It is the most healing thing, and loneliness is the biggest killer. And then United Nations goals everyone can achieve: knowledge, empathy, and citizenship That is like the main transformation is the knowledge everyone is imparting. So empathy is one thing which has to be imparted, which is being forgotten everywhere. Structural changes, it's like that is again a big topic, and I think ma'am can take much better. Professor Joyce, I'm not able to spell the name right. Uh, she can teach much better than me, of course. And indigenous wisdom, I believe it's highly important. It's now time to bring back the local things. Even I don't know my own culture, many things I don't know, despite like though I have been raised up from my grandmother, but now it is being forgotten. Nobody talks about it. Sustainable resources management, because things are depleting, and now like we cannot predict the weather anywhere in the world. I am in Rajasthan. I can I one day it is winter, one day it is summer, and I'm like, what's happening? Rajasthan is supposed to be summers this year, but that thing I learned that from Iceland. Like everywhere you can learn, every conversation can teach you that Petar Edasta, which means whatever it is, it will be, and it is accept the change, that accept the changing seasons as if you have never seen spring, and embrace the change, and you will always have some solution will be ready, because everything is written and good things will come. So changes are happening, but prevention is better than cure. So that's why we all are teaching everybody, and we all are learning ourselves also about how to manage the resources and how become sustainable development is there, and learning across generations, that I said, like that is the most important thing. A child learn, if you tell one story to the child, he will remember for a long time, because how a person feels, like emotion, like what you made a person feel, that is never forgotten. Why the movies stories you'll remember every time, but you forget what you ate in the breakfast? Because movies, they evoke the emotions in you. So similarly, our grandparents, our parents, and elders who like today I asked you about the Easter. Now, anyways, I will call up Ambassador Christine to learn about all, because once she tells me, I will not forget, as emotions will be evoked, and once emotions are attached, we learn. And learning is a lifelong thing. We all are work in progress. And there are global lessons. Every country, every community, smallest community, and there's even smallest person. First of all, small, there is nobody small and big. But many people think that about the title. So a driver can teach me a lot more than a teacher at times. So Indian knowledge system I speak about, because Ayurveda, yoga, homeopathy, even you have that indigenous medicines which work miracles. Especially like even you gave the example of snake bite. At that time, if you go and run after a doctor till the time and you apply your indigenous technique, a life will be saved. So everyone should be aware of that. That yes, we have these miracles in our country. And Vastu Shas, all these things are there. Then partnerships will be developed when harmony is there, and because it's a global board game and we all are being played. Political media, they all are controlling us, and we all are being played. So don't be pawn of anybody, and we live in the harmony, because they are not going to lose anything, we will lose it. This is my thing. So my call to action is just come together. We all are same, nobody is different. And especially I am the very big advocate for gender equality, because myself going through gender-based violence, I believe it is not the women's issue or a men's issue or a fight between men and women or sexes. It's a fight against the system which is giving rise to the patriarchy. Otherwise, everyone is equal and everyone is same. And when, until and unless men come with us, change will become unstoppable if we bring in men also along with us in the dialogues. I just want to say this, and of course, I don't have the. I don't present with too much of references and studies, because I believe like everyone can study and we should have an interactive thing, and that is there. But next time I can talk in detail. So thank you. I hope it was useful a bit.
Wow. Daktari, Professor, that was wonderful. And I'm sure we've all learned something. So in a nutshell, what have we learned and what have we heard from the professor? We've heard about decolonizing, where we are now saying we must recenter marginalized knowledge system. We must enhance relevance and inclusivity. We must strengthen sustainable development efforts. And it's not about rejecting global knowledge, but about rebalancing and integrating knowledge and systems to create a more just, sustainable, and context-responsive future. That's under decolonization. With integration, what have we learned? In summary, we've found that with that one, we are saying we must make sure we are integrating indigenous knowledge and the global innovation. We must expand how we are training, who we are training, how we are training, and even impacting on the policy and even how we do things. From there, we are saying, let us use our two eyes. The two-eyed thing approach, indigenous and global scientific innovation. Integration is not replacement, it is mutual enrichment and co-creation. Last but not least, what you just said about the transformative global dialogue. We are mainly from health, education, and sustainable development. What has come out clearly? Collaboration. We cannot do it alone. Secondly, it has to be inclusive. Inclusivity. You've been told about the autistic. Yes, they are exceptional individuals. In fact, I'm doing a project right now on autism, and it has been proved that autistic people do things in half the time compared to the normal. In fact, I'll take that up with you. It's an interesting statement. Then we have to think of action-oriented process of communication. As we communicate, what action are we taking? And that communication must be what? Across the cultures, we are diverse from all the continents. Across disciplines, we are many. And we must now also think of the power structures which have been stopping us from looking at things the way we are supposed to. So what are we trying to say in a nutshell under transformative global dialogue? We must try to promote mutual learning. Learning is a lifelong process. There is no end to learning. We must also promote co-creation of solutions for global challenges. Think local, act global. Think global, act local. It is a reverse system. I think I heard it correctly. From there, we're saying dialogue is not just exchange. It is transformation of perspectives. How we are looking at things. Why are we looking at things the way we look at them? And what are the key things that came out? Inclusivity, equity, reflexivity, co-creation, and action-oriented. I don't know how best to summarize, but otherwise, that is the gist of what we have done today. And we are hoping, and as I like saying, we just opened up the Pandora's box. We now ask ourselves, how do we now move forward? So thank you very much for that presentation. We greatly appreciate. It has opened up our eyes. You said the 21st education is about think global, act local, and you can also add and say act local and think global. It's a two-way. So we better start thinking before our sustainability development efforts. We have to think of that. This topic has been quite enhancing, and I believe we have learned a lot. Thank you very much. I'd like to hand over back to Dr. Ambassador Christine so that we do the preliminaries and we close the day. Thank you so much, presenter. Great. We love it.
What a session. I don't have words. We just want to say thank you to God.
This is the best forum. Dr. Kama. Yes.
Thank you. I didn't prepare it at all. So next time I will be giving it like.
You are always ready, Dr. Aninda. Anytime I get you, you are forever ready. Anyway, thank you so much, Dr. Aninda. Thank you so much, Professor Balidawa, and everybody who participated in making this session really very, very lively, because we are past time, 7 minutes past time. Probably it's because we took a lot of time to settle. Let me request anybody ready to pray. Dr. Gladys, please pray for us.
Thank you, Ambassador Christine.
Let us believe and pray. Father, in the name of Jesus, it's a good Easter Sunday that we have had global discussions in terms of where we are, where we came from, and where we're going. I thank you for the speakers who find time, especially on weekends, to share with us what they know. Lord, as we depart, go with us. Those continue with the day, be with them. Those going to sleep, be their angel overnight. I ask this believing and trusting in the name of Jesus Christ our Lord. Amen. Thank you. Amen. And happy
Amen.
Easter,
Thank you.
everyone. Enjoy
Happy
the
Easter,
season
everyone.
because He is risen.
Amen.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Goodbye.
Lovely. Thank you all. Bye-bye.
Bye.